Today is coming from Proverbs chapter 26. Today is the 26th of April, of course. And we're going to pull verses 24 and 25. Okay? Proverbs chapter 26, dealing with verses 24 and 25. Now, if you read this chapter, you're going to find out that it starts off talking about fools. And so I thought about doing that. But I said, you know what? Let's go a little deeper than that. So it says this, 24. It says, enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. Okay? It says, enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. 25. Though their speech is charming, do not believe them, for 7 abominations fill their hearts. And so this morning, on our morning meditation, it's cool, so I got my hoodie on. Got the God King hoodie on. It's cool this morning. Sunny, but it's cool. All right. So I want to talk to you this morning about enemies, and we could go a lot of information about enemies, but I want to keep it very practical. Okay. So those of you, I got something blue in my, where's it at? Something blue in my hair. All right. This weather is making my skin really dry, so I apologize if I look scaly. Nevertheless, if you know your enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for the victory gained, you will also suffer a great defeat. If you know neither the enemy and you don't know yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Now, that's a very famous quote. For those of you guys who are readers, you guys will recognize that that is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. All right. Notice we started out with the biblical reading, and now I'm going into some some overall reading. Like I said before, you guys should be reading 50 books a year. The Art of War is one of those books that you should have read by now if you are between the ages of 30 and 35. All right. So we talked about Proverbs 26, 24, and 25, talking about how enemies disguise themselves with their lips primarily. We talked about 25, their speech is always charming, but don't believe them because their heart is full of deceit. I pulled a verse or a famous quote by The Art of War, Sun Tzu. All right. And then I'm going to tell you this. What's the best way to defeat your enemy? The best way to defeat your enemy is, first of all, love them. What? That's crazy. Remember, it's the fig tree. Biblical-based teaching, practical experience, practical application. The best way to defeat your enemy is, first of all, love them. You have heard it before. You shall love your enemies, and you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemies. But I say unto you, you have said it before, you have heard it before, love your enemies. But now, I say unto you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that even you may be the sons of your Father who is in heaven. So, the number one way to defeat your enemies is to love them. Why? Because you have to be right with yourself first, and you got to have the love of God in you. Now, you must love them. Doesn't mean you got to hang out with your enemies. It means that you love your enemies. Okay? So we all know that there's people out here that don't like us. We know that there's people out here that can't stand us, who, if given the gavel, they would put you in prison, put you in jail, take away your house, take away your family. They would do things to you that are unspeakable. All right? So the best way to defeat them is, first of all, you have to be right with God and you love them. All right? Now, what's the second way to defeat your enemy? I'm glad you asked. Is to get them out of your lives completely. How do you do that? Most people think that you have to entertain your enemy. You do not have to entertain your enemy. Okay? First of all, you can, and guess what? You can love them from a distance. Watch this. You can love your enemies from a distance. You don't have to have your enemies up in your face. Okay? You can love your enemies from a distance, including family, y'all. Because some family is not family. Well, that's a separate video. But everybody whose blood ain't family. Okay. All right. So the first way to defeat your enemy, love them. The second way to defeat your enemy is to get them out of your lives. You don't have to hang out with your enemy. All right. The third way is to avoid your enemies as much as possible. What do I mean by that? When you avoid your enemy, then you don't give way for them to offend you, to get into your business. Okay. And then you also disarm them because they don't have the reach to get to you. See, a lot of times the people that are our greatest thorn, if you will, in the flesh are people who have access to information, access to where you work at, not necessarily where you work at, but when you work, what shift you work, all kinds of crazy stuff. All right. So the best way is, first of all, love them, which means you get right with God. So you're able to love people who persecute you. The second way is to get them out of your lives. Okay. Which means you don't have to hang out with them. And then the third way is you learn how to avoid them. Meaning, stop telling everybody all your business. Get off Facebook, get off Instagram, showing everybody what you got, because everybody who's following you is not for you. I'm going to say it again. Everybody who is following you is not for you. The main people who you think are liking your stuff and following you because you're so cool or you're so hip or you're so relative that you just relate to people, no. The majority of people who are following you because they want something that you provide for them or to them. Okay? So this is your man Earl. Day 117 on the calendar. FSQ 41, Sunday the 26th. Mid-morning, get ready to head off to church. It's cool. It's sunny, but it's cool. Don't let the sun fool you. It's cool out here. It's windy. How to deal with enemies. I gave it to you. God bless you. God keep you. Peace. Good day.